So a while ago I made this, and now I am going to redo it. So I'm starting off with a pencil sketch of, doodle doodle doodle, doodle doodle doodle. And then once I finish that, I'm going to begin watercolor. And since that's going to take a while, I'm going to talk about vampires because that's what she is. So I believe that this reference I originally used came from Pulp Fiction. However, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But I started thinking, you know, we romanticize vampires. Edward Cullen. I think he is one of the most notable ones from Twilight, which, guilty as charged, I've watched every single Twilight movie. That's not true. I've watched three of them, and I'm supposed to watch the rest with my friend. But it's important to know that even though you may hate it, you can still hate watch it, and you can still consume the content. However, I don't know. It's bad, but it's good, if that makes sense. Anyway, I was thinking, why are people attracted to vampires? And through a little bit of research, like two searches, I'm super lazy. I've found that there's a there's a few reasons why. So the breakdown of vampire qualities sounds great. A man or woman who's strong, gorgeous, hot, and gothic. So, sign me up, sign me up. But the execution is where a lot of people tend to get lost in the idea. However, there is an appeal of danger. Oh my gosh, look at that. We already started painting. I'm so behind. But anyway, a lot of women tend to be more attracted to the idea of vampires, at least outspoken about it. I don't know what men do in their free times. I'm not one, so yuck. But yeah, there is a sense of predator prey dynamics that a lot of people tend to love. That sense of need, that sense of desire. Ooh. Which is what I think is the original attraction. I think what happens is where, well, that was a horrible sentence. I think what happens is when you take a vampire and a teenager together, because then you have the issues of that's a 200-year-old man with a 16-year-old girl.
Oh, look, a new angle. Wow.
That mind isn't cooked, you know? That mind isn't done cooking. And his has been cooked for about a few centuries, you know? And I think that that is the true complication where everything goes wrong. Because if you look at other media, like My Babysitter's a Vampire, the vampires in that show are the same age, like no immortality added. Well, the main one, the ones that matter. And I think that it's interesting how they aren't really as critiqued, the vampires specifically. There's plenty of drama in old media that we can get into, but we're not getting into that. Please don't hurt me, it's just my opinion. But yeah, I think that that was a more palpable, I love that word, a more palpable romance because the ages are the same, and these are a bunch of kids together, some who happen to be vampires. It's also, strong independent women as vampires, which I love. But still, I think it's important to note the difference between that and Edward and Bella. Well, we also have the Jacob and Nessie thing, but that's I don't. Anyway. But yeah, I think that it's interesting to explore those dynamics and the romanticization of vampires is just really interesting in general. I find it so fascinating how we take these creatures that were originally meant to strike terror and turn them into little hotties. Um, and I know the Vampire Diaries and the originals and all that Like, I know people are obsessed with that, and I support it. I just don't see the appeal. Because I guess personally, if someone's going to be dangerous, I want them to at least, like, be good, like, be a good person. And I think I don't get that when it comes to a lot of vampire media, which is why I think I enjoy other forms of media a little more because you want to love a good person, in my opinion, or you want to have someone who you can trust who won't kill you, even if it is hot that he can kill you. The fact that he won't, the fact that he can prove himself not to kill you. Can I say kill on YouTube? I don't think so. Oh well. Anyway, basically, I've been layering and 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 layering until I get tired, and then I decide I'm going to let it dry and layer and layer and layer and layer and layer more. Because watercolors are not built opaque. You have to make them opaque. And then you don't want to get rid of all your highlights. So you have to work up from your highlights to your darks. So you do a ton of layering, and it's a pain in the butt. But you get her done. Also, at one point, I do hide my foot.
Hello? You weren't invited.
And I think that's really funny. Um, I don't even remember. I've recorded this twice. One time I just didn't like the outcome I did because I didn't freehand it. I just started painting without a sketch and I hated that. And to be honest, I'm not quite as happy with this one either. However, I do like it a little more. Wow, wow, wow. So, yeah. Sue me. What can I do about it? I can't really fix the first one. It's really bad, but this one I'm more happy with. And again, I just worked from lights to darks, layering on, mixing cool cooler colors with my red ochres and my burnt siennas to create a skin tone that could be a little bit more uh palish, not palish, but cool tone. So that way they give the effect of a coldness and whatever while still maintaining human skin color because we love to see human skin color. I gave her red hair, which is convenient because I have red hair, but that was just the original way that the drawing was. So I don't really see any of me in her. Me on my period. That was so funny. This took me about an hour to do, which isn't that bad, honestly, especially considering dry times and the amount of shading I did, which you can't really see it in the final product, but I know it's there, and that's what matters. But back to vampires. I think that it's kind of funny, vampires. I think that they're funny. I think that the media surrounding them is interesting and very dynamic and very diverse. And because you have a lot of retellings of Dracula that can be horror, that can be romance. I know that there's that one gay one that's on my feed all the time, which love that. Love that for them. I know that there's a bunch of funny jokes surrounding Twilight that I really enjoy. Because again, it's kind of like the media is interesting, and then you don't have to necessarily love it to have fun, which I think is really important. All that jazz. But I enjoy the comedy aspect of exploring romanticized vampires. And I think that that's okay. I think it's okay to do that. And I think it's okay that maybe you don't take something seriously, but other people take it seriously and respect it. Like, I'm not going to tell my friend who is obsessed with Twilight that she shouldn't be. She's not going to tell me that I should be obsessed with Twilight. And that's okay. I think that that's what helps balance out relationships and independency? Independency is a word. Yes. I remember that from my American government class. That's right. I still know that. She's so smart. But yeah, vampires are hot, dangerous, and a little evil, but they also appeal to the gothicness of it all. And I must say, I think that that's even better. I don't really have anything else to say on this topic. I guess, I mean, the moral of the story is um, cringe teen romances make the world go round. That is a joke. That's a joke. But seriously, I think that there's a sense of forbiddenness and a need that vampires have that makes them so appealing. And I, again, I think that that's just fine. You know, a girl can girl, and that's okay. And even if we don't get it, we support, which I get it sometimes. Depends on the context. So yeah, vampires will keep drinking the forbidden human sauce, and women will keep loving it, and we support women. Anyway, enjoy the next few minutes of this going. And yeah, this is the final product. Wow, 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 wow. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe or comment anything. I don't know. Tell me if you like vampires. That's a good question, right? Yeah. Thanks. She really feels bad asking people for engagement.